Right now. Welcome everyone to my new stream. In this stream we're gonna play Honkai, gonna play Acheron side, and I'm gonna pull for her as well. So welcome. So right now we're gonna talk with Sanatorin.
Friend,
What happened
my
before?
expression wasn't much better than yours when I first saw it. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. It's her. The famous singer, Robin.
I'm just quick, but how is that actually possible? Isn't she died?
Well, first of all, can I just say that this had nothing to do with me? I'm just an unlucky bystander here. The family can testify for me. If you don't believe me, just ask anyone in the Bloodhound family. They hate me and they hate the IPC. This is not where the crime happened. What I showed you was a memory. The most basic light cone manifesting tech, authorized by the Garden of Recollection and owned by the IPC.
To be honest, this kinda hard to believe him, Aventurin, because he's two-faced unit in this game.
Did you really think the Galaxy Rangers were outsiders this whole time?
So right now he means
Penacony has
Acheron,
made a
right?
solemn commitment to protect the safety of anyone inside a family dream. Any person in distress will be forcibly awakened and safely returned to reality. What gives them the confidence to make such conclusive statements? Because behind this promise is the harmony. The family's Dreamweavers link up their minds together to construct an unbreakable defensive line, breaking through this line of defense to create death in the dreamscape. Not even a memo keeper could do that without the family's permission. Who could have done it, friend? The only one is her. The girl who calls herself a Galaxy Ranger. An imposter. An unsought guest. An emanator who hides her true identity.
He's definitely talking about her.
Ifrit's death was a foregone conclusion. And Robin? Her misfortune was staring right at her. Who will be the next?
I thought there's just one side of the story. I
It's
want to hear
fine.
another one as
Listen to
well.
your gut. Building trust always takes time. And I'm willing to wait. I just hope you realize that wherever that legacy is concerned, covert plans are already underway throughout Penacony. Everyone, careful you don't get stuck on the wrong side. If I were you, I'd keep my distance from Acheron. After all, any schemes out in the open are always going to be better than a monster in the shadows, right?
Who's to say there isn't an even deeper conspiracy
Oh,
lurking
here we go.
beneath the
Here came
surface?
Black Swan.
Memo Keeper, I think our little deal is finished.
Aventurine is telling the truth. This memory is a real one, and there's no sign of any.
The IPC is not the Garden, and there are real limits to what they can actually do, but you know all this. Friend, let's not beat around the bush here. The thing is, I want to reach out personally to team up with the Astral Express. I told you I'm just not interested in scrambling for the legacy. I just came to Penacony for work. I'm here to retrieve some lost property for the IPC, if you catch my drift. I'm talking ownership of this frontier prison. This has all become a bad debt thanks to the cancer of all worlds. The IPC has tried sitting down for negotiations time and again, but the family wouldn't even take our calls.
How
You have
interesting.
no idea how difficult these people are to deal with. Put it this way. They've hushed up the existence of death before, so they can definitely cover up any news about Robin's death. It'll just quietly float off like a bubble and pop. Nobody ever being the wiser.
But actually Robin isn't the first person who dies here. It's already third or fourth time.
That's not fair, right? So then, friend, I need your help. I have but only one goal. The family's front door is like a high wall, and to tear the whole thing down, I'll have to dig out a few chunks first. Once I find a weak point, the IPC will have... Now we have our chance. So long as we can get to the truth behind her death, we can have justice for Robin. While also gaining a valuable bargaining chip for bringing the family to the table. Truly a once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity. I've been investigating and making lots of friends all over Penacony precisely for this very moment. This tragic news would be extremely bad for the family, so they'll be doing everything they can to stop it leaking, especially to the IPC. But I trust that there are still a few factions that remain exceptions, and that's why I need you all. The reputation of the Astral Express precedes you, and the Harmony will give you the fairest of appraisals.
But actually, what he talked about that we can't trust anyone is actually true. Even we can't trust Acheron as well. Because we didn't know her true identity as well.
You get to find out really what happened and seek justice. And I get to put it toward completing my mission for the IPC. It's what you call a win-win situation. Don't worry, just head back and talk things over with your companions.
Yeah, but then anything gonna go and do this.
That navigator is really smart. She must understand the value of this deal. Look, here's my contact details. If you come to any conclusions, call me.
Okay then.
Oh, and take this. A thorough investigation can always use a little more funding. Don't mention it. So long, friend. I really am looking forward to uncovering the truth about death with everyone.
Aventurine just sauntered off. He really doesn't mean to force...
What now? What are your plans?
Black Swan. What is she thinking?
It's kinda tricky to tell her true as well.
On the surface, this doesn't look like a bad deal for you. But Aventurine is a shrewd merchant whose scheme won't just be as simple as it. He doesn't know about Miss Firefly yet. But, judging by your reaction, he may have noticed something going on, and deliberately shifted topics to the truth of death, to try and pull you in. That's quick thinking and very sound logic. Aventurine is no fool. But you're talking about real evil. Anyway, be careful out there. There's more than one way to blaze a trail. In a dark forest beset by wolves, ensuring your own escape to safety should be your primary concern. As for the other questions, I'm not sure the two cases were committed by the same culprit, but that massive wound looked like its winged blade. Plus, it seems unlikely that there would be two lethal entities loose in the dreamscape.
It's not possible. And if one person dies, there also can be another as well.
Sorry, I can't answer that question. That ranger, but without a doubt, she is the most special guest at this. Two victims appearing one after the other in a very short time span, in and of itself, that's very unusual. Two possibilities. The collapse of Penacony's dreamscape has started speeding up, making death extremely agitated and weakening the family's protections. Or if someone has chosen these victims deliberately, first a smuggler, then a family celebrity. It's all happened so quickly, I can only make conjecture. After leaving here, go have a chat with your companions.
They just keep forcing me. Go and chat with companions. I can do it anyway. There's no other side.
Come, this way. It's a short walk. Don't get lost.
Okay, but first I want to check something. Oh, I didn't find all of them.
This way. This is where we part ways. All of this, unfortunately, the remembrance doesn't lie. What we just saw is the reality that happened. But follow your heart and don't be afraid. We all walk through this world casting hold on just a sec. There you go. A small parting gift. If one day you unfortunately fall into the deep waters of the memory zone and there's no memo keeper to join you, hopefully I also pay great attention to the ways of the world. Just think of this as an apology from me for hiding something from. Then,
Okay,
I've something
let's
private
get
to take
along
care
with
of
her.
regarding that Galaxy Ranger. Let's leave things there, shall we? What fascinating memories will you bring for me next time we meet? I sincere.
This much sound didn't change at all. Also, I already know about Firefly as well.
A family rep. Is Himiko okay?
Yes, we can check it later. So let's go for it. Very interesting. Maybe we can need it later, so I will absorb some emotions. And here we go.
So much has happened. I should take...
Better unsheath that blade now, Ranger.
Do you still dream, Hunter? Of those slain by your hand?
It appears the outcome has already been determined.
You're still alive. As are you. You still have room to make a choice. Leave the music box behind.
Choice. The bloody trail of the destruction leaves no room for hesitation.
The Taurus Fire Demon. Even if you sacrifice your life for that eon.
Ranger, you tread the narrow path of the hunt. We come from the fire, and are born bathed in fire. We spread, burn, and destroy, until all burning forms the entire life of a fire demon. From the beginning to the end. We are born to die, just to put into practice a profile of another universal truth. All things are created for the destruction.
Actually, they did a great job about this stories as well. And about Acheron trailer as well. It was on another level. When I first saw it, I was enjoying it myself.
Your companions don't seem to think so. They fight for your chance at survival.
They are my children, and just as I was, they are flames that have yet, but my flames are faint. And time is running out. Can you see the planet of festivities in the distance? I plan to bring Purgatory with me there, and before that, I must surpass you.
Why?
Because on the path they have forged, you have traveled farther than I have.
How interesting.
Emanator. You cannot hide your true identity. Draw that sword. Destruction is intense, but brief. To cravenly cling to life is to endure an endlessly prolonged existence.
I'm just curious, can we have him like a playable person as well? It's gonna be interesting.
Even if the answer turns out to be your own destruction.
What is important is not the answer, but that it exists. Just as even sweet dreams may be born of the void, the so-called impossible is merely something that has yet to happen.
Well, it's totally right as well.
Alright. I accept.
You shall witness the most brilliant and intense fire in existence.
A bottomless stream. Yes, that's right. But you've made one small mistake. This blade remains in its scabbard not out of pity or scorn. It's a personal secret that I don't want to disclose, but perhaps I'll reveal the truth to you. The hunt is not the path I truly follow.
Interesting, so much interest to be honest.
May death be the end of your boundless journey, guiding you back to the waking world. I still see them in my dreams. Hold it. Your time hasn't come yet.
My time.
Sam Stoller Hunter, right?
I've seen many clever disguises that can conceal appearances. But they can never cover up who a person really is. Different. You had no desire to kill the Trailblazer. You only did what you did to drive me and the Memo Keeper away, but why?
I'm just curious about it as well. Why he decided to do something like this?
Did Destiny's slave make you do it?
You know, Elio.
I thought this is just the kind of thing that'd get written into your script.
My script has always been brief. Other than that, yet he knows my nature. There is but a single destiny. However, you appear to be ignorant of this. So it's time for me to...
Not your enemy, perhaps.
That's not what I asked.
I don't deserve your curiosity. Loners wandering the cosmos always have their secrets. Take me. I'm wanted by the e.t.c, so it's little wonder that I know something about the Stellaron Hunters. That's all. Maybe I can help.
Interesting.
What reason would you have for doing that?
I tend to forget things. Which is why, rather than memories, I'm accustomed to using my emotions to capture what I normally wouldn't otherwise. I know who is inside that cold armor. How about it? Ready to take off that armor and sit down for a talk?
It's not yet time. I don't need help. But I can give you a suggestion. If your goal is the Watchmaker's legacy, then go look into the family. Not only are they covering up the existence of death, but they're burying the past and the truth about what happens inside the dreamscape.
I'm just curious who is gonna be in Sam's things. Is it gonna be a Spark or something like this?
Already on it.
And the Astral Express is no enemy of yours.
I know that. I just never expected to hear you say it. What's next then? The Trailblazer's been taken by Black Swan.
No need for that. No harm in mention. I tried settling this in an easier and more direct way. But as you can see, here I am, confronting you.
The so-called impossible is merely something that has yet to happen. That's it. Before we split, can I ask, is there anything else in your script about me? I'd like to know what kind of footnote I get to leave in that future foreseen by death.
Unfortunately, not a thing came up. Hang on.
So Acheron looks like a dark horse here.
I...
Don't. What?
What?
Your first question was... Do you still have dreams? I don't. Never have. I was born without the ability to dream. I live, so I really envy you.
Is that so? Then you're already living in the waking world.
So what she said is reality as well.
We heard about Miss Firefly from Black Swan.
I'm sorry.
Reality cruises on in serenity, while undercurrents bubble up from the dreamscape. Just like this. Stay strong, everyone. We can still do what we can for them. Starting with fight.
Let's recap everything then. The Trailblazer just reminded me of something. March, do you remember what that family rep who negotiated with us said?
Indeed, we trust that the Nameless has nothing to do with this. And we also beg each of you to help assist the family in verifying the identity.
Looking back, he seemed a little evasive at the time. And he also failed to mention anything about the earlier murder, too.
The family's planning on covering up all news about Miss Robin's death. If news gets out, Penacony's going to turn into a bloodbath.
But actually, if they didn't do anything, there are gonna be more and more deaths.
But the
It's
murder
gonna
we
be
followed
dangerous
closely
as well.
after was obviously beyond their anticipation. The family had to try and turn things to their advantage by bringing in reinforcements from outside. The Charmony Festival is nearly...
It may also be that Miss Firefly's murder had so many witnesses that it couldn't be covered up. So they went with the flow and let more people on the scene to control this. After all, the nature of the two murders is fundamentally different. The family's first protective measure should be against malicious actors among the guests, such as that
Indeed. He was particularly concerned...
Are we missing the forest for the trees here? I always felt that Aventurine's reasons for accusing Miss Acheron were highly subtle. Can we believe him?
At this point,
Look, let's try to gather intel first and then list all the possible outcomes we can. Then we go through them, eliminating contradictions one by one. The fewer facts remaining, the closer we are. I've still got this sense of foreboding. It's like we're stuck in a whirlpool, spinning around that legacy even after everything that's happened.
This time we're playing the role of a real detective. But before we start, what are we going to say to the family and Aventurine?
as I see things, the family harbors no ill will towards the Astral Express. Plus, this is the family's turf. Teaming up with them. As for that Aventurine, well, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
He's complex. He appealed convincingly to both reason. Still, it's good to have contacts among all this uncertainty. Aventurine showed his... We also need to keep a certain distance from the family. Never let them get too close.
So, you suggest accepting Aventurine's proposal to team up?
Yes. It's risky, but we can only wait until both sides have played their cards before making any further judgments.
I get why, but there's a whole lot of... Forget about it. Just let me keep an eye on him. If that doesn't work, we can just turn the tables and use him instead.
Then, could you please reply to Aventurine? Everyone.
Okay, I got you. So we couldn't talk this Aventurine right now. But before it, I want to do something. So came to replay my this stream.